About ready. Here we go. Going live on YouTube. It is December 27th, 2021. And we are, it's the days after Christmas. It's not the day after Christmas, but the days after Christmas. And just listening to all of you when I joined in the call, talking about, how was Christmas? How was your Christmas? How was the holidays? I think it's an important time to acknowledge everything that is going on in our lives. And on our last call on, I believe it was Thursday was our last call. We talked about the energetic feeling of giving and receiving, and can we balance that so that it's like this even push and pull force. And I feel like the days after Christmas, or let's talk first about the setup, because we were talking about it before, but it wasn't on recording. When we look at these flow of events from Hanukkah, like Janice had mentioned, where we're celebrating the light, it's a festival of light overcoming darkness. And then as we move first to the full moon. And it was all about, really those kinds of energies of manifesting your dreams and getting really clear on what you want to see. We moved into the winter solstice, which was the longest night, the shortest day. So the most amount of darkness, in our hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, because we do have people that join us from the southern hemisphere and it's flipped. So you have to remember that. But, we can still relate. I'm going to show all the ways we can relate. And so that kind of pushing the light forward. Then we entered into Christmas, which is all about, spreading this light and sharing the light and being, the Christmas spirit and just that joyful energy that is around us. And again, this can be felt no matter what you practice or don't practice. If you have no religion and you don't subscribe to any type of that kind of belief, we can still sense these things around us. I always like to try to be pretty neutral as far as religion goes, because there are just so many, and we want to definitely honor everyone and where they are. And then, yesterday started Kwanzaa, which is like an African-American celebration here in the US. And that celebrates light again. So there is that celebration of light and pushing that in. So if we kind of distill it, if we kind of try to take one concept from all these different celebrations, and then I'll tie it into what I was starting to say in the beginning, is that sense of light overcoming darkness, that sense of pushing the light out there, that, even with Christmas, where you're giving and giving and giving and giving, there can be this moment where you almost feel depleted, where you feel like, okay, I've given. Okay, what about me? Joe agrees. And so that's important. It's not something that we should value less than giving gifts and so on. There is that space where we need to honor our own inner light, the space inside of ourselves that we have to nourish and restore. Really, I feel like the days after Christmas, they're about restoration. They're like, okay, now, and we shared some shares, and I hope that as this call goes on and more people join, and of course it will be lightly attended. We understand that it is the Christmas season, so definitely light attendance is to be expected. But that we can share how we are restoring ourselves and what does it mean? Like, how are you spending those days? And I know Janice was talking about family, and Joe and Kelly were sharing just a little bit about them staying at home, and that Kelly took the time to be home, which is good, which is, big. It's not like a small thing, because you could have chosen not to be there and to honor other people and not just you. And Joe was joking about, well, I'm her family, like I'm her children, your child or something you said, right? Something funny like that. But can we look at that, right? Can we come out of that personal space and look at that from a side and say, wow, you were honoring each other. You were really kindling your own light, which is important inside of you and in between your relationship and in your home, which is, I feel like, what we were doing also here as in my family. You'd ask me, what did I do? And so, we don't have those specific traditions, but our traditions are playing games, and just joking around. And we were laughing for hours with all the kids. It was hysterical, because, and just to see even how they've grown, we kind of play the same, it's not the same games, we change them around, but there are some games, let's say, that we pull out less frequently than others. We'll play a lot of card games and different kinds of cards and stuff like that on a kind of every week basis, evenings. But these different games like charades or Pictionary, or there's the one with a speak out where you put that plastic thing in your mouth. Have you ever seen that one? So funny. So it's just, I think since we've moved, we haven't played that one because I repositioned where the board games are and the different games. Anyway, so it's just pulling those out and watching the evolution, the transformation of the family, of how the kids grew and how good we are now at these games than we used to be, and how everyone is interacting. It was beautiful, and it was funny. And I think that right there, that's the restoration. That's everyone gathering together, celebrating together, being together, and just uplifting one another. And then in that space, that's where I felt that my inner light got so much brighter. It's like, I think as a mother, oftentimes we have these doubt feelings. Am I giving enough? Am I doing enough? Are we together enough? Is it okay that the children are watching on their phones or doing their thing? All these things that enter in your mind. But when you gather in that way and everyone is together and there is that internal celebration, and it's tangible, it's something that you can feel. And that doesn't relate, that doesn't have to do with any religion or it's very, very relatable wherever you are in the world, and whoever's listening to this. I think you can find that aspect of that inner light, just honoring. And maybe for some, it's just the quiet time, spending time together, watching a movie, going on a walk. I mentioned yesterday, Joe was commenting on the weather here in Texas. Michael, we haven't seen you in a long time. How are you, Michael? The weather here in Texas was so great that going out in nature, that fills me personally up from the inside. So it's like one of those things that just, I feel like I'm doing everything right. If my whole family is out in the nature together having fun, then all is well in the universe. So this is kind of where I want us to have our conversation today, just to really keep the energy light and share these moments of how we make ourselves brighter, and how can we look from that space of honoring the holidays, that we are trying to express from ourselves something. And when we tie that back to our business too, right? Because that's important on these calls, that we can always relate it back to our business. It's such a important time as far as e-commerce, such an important time to be able to express ourselves into this world, that we can get really caught up in that hustle and bustle of all the things that we are trying to get out there. Now, after the fact, or after Christmas, where can we spend, where can we find the space that we can turn inwards and say, okay, what is for me? What do I need? How do I nourish my soul? And what can now build me? Because lo and behold, we're entering 2022 this week. I think that, we'll kind of direct our conversations throughout the week to this new year, but I feel like today is really all about reflecting on the Christmas that has passed, and that kind of thing. And he's commenting here on the weather. Yeah, no going outdoors for where he is. I was saying, people in Canada, we can't. Minus 38 Celsius. Minus 38 Celsius.
That's
really
too cold for me.
That's really, really cold. I was in minus 40 when I was living in Europe for a little bit, and that was so cold. I had to leave for the islands at that point. Okay. Got sidetracked there, but it's really great I want to say hello. So I rushed right into what we were talking about before the recording started, but I want to say hello to Sarah and Miss B and Jewel and Phil. Hey, Phil. And Rima's here. Great to see you, Rima. And Catherine with her camera on. Great to see you, Catherine. Millicent, hey, nice to see you. Great to see you here. Deborah's here. Ooh, in a different spot. Scott made it. Yay. Scott, you're here. Great to see you. Michael's outer space, spaceship. I missed you, Michael. Gail is here, and Sabina. And we got Jamie and Elizabeth and Craig and Marcia and Nadea and Craig and lots of other students here with us today. So let's hand it over to you guys if you want to share just a little bit of your experience with this holiday, however way you celebrate, and if you can reflect that on how these energies of just rekindling your own light. So, that restorative energy, and what restores you. How can you apply this to your business, to your life moving forward? What comes up for you when we talk about these kinds of things, and let's share it with the group. I am here instead of John Lavinia this week, the whole week. He is creating a whole new life for himself. So we are here to support each other, and it's really exciting. So I'm happy to be here with all of you. Deborah, great to hear from you. How was your Christmas?
It was great with the grand boys, the twins. They successfully demolished my house, which was okay. I'm a grandparent. I can take it and send them home, But I thought someone said 38 degrees below something. And I remember living in Evansville, Indiana, in the midst of torrential snowstorms. But I also, at this time of year, my body is saying it wants quiet. It wants some silence. So my thoughts that need to come in can come in. And I relish the time, and I grew up in Chicago, part of my life, where you have the snow come in. It seems like it deafens every sound, out there. And I relish that, have that little peace, that quiet, so my mind can get out there and think. So I don't know if everybody experiences that, but I did want to say hello to Michael. I missed you because I can tell by your facial expression that I'm off the wrong track or something. So happy holiday season to everyone, and past Merry Christmas.
I love that. I love that, Deborah. Definitely, I think that's very relatable. I can definitely relate to that. And we don't have snow yet. Usually it comes in February or April here in Texas.
What? Okay.
But I did grow up in upstate New York, so I remember it is that peaceful, like silent, they say silent night, and that peaceful just space where everything, and it's kind of like, okay, we're staying in, it's like, I think that was one of the things, if we can look at the positives of the pandemics, it was like, okay, there's nothing to do. Remember, that was kind of like what I was talking about, my conversation with my husband on the next day. It's like, okay, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to do. You're just staying home. You got this down, and that's it. And so what can you do inside your home space, and what can you really create for yourself that lifts you up? So definitely, I think that's a really important aspect of this time, just coming inward, looking in, and enjoying that peace of mind, enjoying the silence, enjoying that space wherever you are in the world. I think that is definitely relatable. So thank you, Deborah, for speaking up on that. Michael, yay!
Hello.
Oh, great to see you.
Yeah, as I see you guys, my mugs weren't nearly as let's see, as millionaire-ish as I would have hoped for the season, so I had to go get a job. So that's why I've been away. So I've been working regular hours, so I haven't been able to get on the calls, and all my breaks are different from the call times. So that's why I haven't been around.
A lot.
So minus 38 with the wind, maybe a little bit chillier because it's about 15 to 20 kilometer an hour, which I don't know what that is in American, probably about 1,000 miles an hour. So I know it's cold. It's freaking cold. Let's just say that. And I have to go after this. I literally have to walk a couple of blocks to meet a friend for coffee. And I'm like, ugh, why did I say today? I thought it was supposed to be getting warmer today, and then warmer in our world is like above 20. But for the whole pandemic in Canada, what we do, we just like hunker in. If you don't have a relationship by, say, I don't know, September, forget it. You're not getting it until spring. So, because nobody's going to be looking for you, and you're not looking for anybody else. So we just enjoy the fact that we have things like TV, internet, our game station, PlayStations or GameCubes or whatever that is, and that's our way of life. However, I was also born in the States, and I remember I was 14, and I was looking around, and it was weird. It was like December 24th or something like that, and I'm looking around going, this is weird. There's no snow. I mean, it's cold. You got mitts on, but there's no snow. And then all of a sudden, about 6 or 7 o'clock at night, these big, huge flakes came. I'm not kidding. They were about like almost an inch around. They start all coming down right in the middle of New York. By Times Square, and I was like, this is the magic right here. And it just, like someone said about, I think it was Millicent said about it being so quiet, it was just that feeling of being surrounded, and this is what it's about, and this is what everyone talks about when they're having the perfect Christmas, and it was just so amazing. It was incredible. I'll never forget it. Very life changing moment. And that was Christmas in New York in Times Square, and I was just amazed. So stay in the States. Don't come to Canada unless you want to freeze. It's just not worth the weather. It's so funny because I moved from Winnipeg, which is colder, to here, and we're almost the same temperature now. We had a family Zoom call, and they're saying, yeah, it's the same temperature there as here. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, though we do get Chinooks, and our weather goes from last week, it went from minus 24, minus 26, up to minus 4, and then back down again. So it's just very unpredictable. So COVID, no difference for us. We don't want to spend get out there and spend less than 6 feet with people unless they have a blanket.
Right. Yeah. It was beautiful for me listening to you speak and describing the magic. Like you're giving that tangible moment of feeling the magic that exists in the world, which is actually around us at all times. But when can we really sense it? There are certain moments that we can sense it more than others. And that was a beautiful description. And, I love New York. I love New York in the autumn. I love New York in the summer and in the, it's like all these times, but I think it's like it's the short loves, right? It's like you enjoy it for a little bit and then you want to go back to the heat. It's like, because the cold that you're describing is the ones where your nose is freezing off, your fingers are, you just can't, it's just like, it's so cold.
You start to lose body parts.
Yeah. But what's interesting, because you're describing a real thing, and all, because there are so many parts of the world that experience these extreme winters. So what do? I mean, you create your whole life that, first of all, you don't have to go out of the house a lot. I mean, even if it's commuting to work and back, it's usually pretty, you just get what you need to do done. And then that, you related it to the pandemic. That's right. Because then like things are prioritized, right? You're not just going to go out and hang out and see and go for, it's prioritized of what you want to get done and do for that day. And there is no banter of, I've been home all day or something like that, right? It's like acceptable. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, thank goodness I'm home all day.
Thank goodness. Yeah, thank goodness I don't need to go outside, which really opens up that avenue, like you were saying, with our online e-commerce business. I mean, that's such a big part of the world that is experiencing exactly that. And everyone's at home and needs this internet connection and is shopping online and saving all of those trips to buy, in the stores, which were crazy. We talked about that on Thursday as well. But that's such a beautiful view because it really gets you focused. It gets you, into, okay, the sense of, you mentioned like relationships and all that. Well, if we think about ourselves with ourselves, it's like, okay, what am I going to set out and do this winter? What are my things that I'm going to align for myself in this house that I can get done for this winter of 2022, moving out of 2021. So I think that's a great point of reflection, which is what we are starting to do towards this new year. So thank you, Michael. We've missed you. We've missed you with this 9 to 5
Well, thank you. I miss you guys too. These conversations are always awesome.
Yeah, so glad to have you back. Hopefully we'll get all the sales of the mugs this 2022 and keep you here as a steady goer like it used to be every day.
I gotta tell you, my FBA mugs apparently are going like crazy, but my mugs, I've only sold 6. So I'm like, okay, I want to get my own popularity up compared to the FBA stuff because it's doing really well, but I want to keep my own creations going because I put a lot of work into it. So it's like, all right, now how do I transition to do that? So
when you say FBA, I'm just going to explain it. You mean like your coach had sent those over to Amazon for you, right?
Yeah. When all of us go sign up for the LHS program. Yeah. No, not Launch 100, LHS, because you still get them. You get more with Launch 100. They give you, I think it's 2 boxes, and there's 36 in a box to start with LHS. And what they do is they have some patterns that have already been created. and they physically send those boxes to Amazon. And then what Amazon does, it keeps it in a warehouse. So the idea is that when someone orders it, they can ship it right away because they have it right in the house. And it really cuts down on the shipping and the handling. And from that, they take a little fee. But the fee is very negligible compared to the sales.
Yeah.
So, but what we are doing on the other side of that is FBM, which is fulfillment by merchants. And we're the merchants. So what we do is we create the mugs, and then they're sold through Gear Bubble, which takes a little bit longer. And FBA is something that, of course, Amazon likes because they have control out of everything, and they put their FBA mugs to the top of the list. So when you look at a page, all their stuff is first, that kind of thing. So you're competing against Amazon in a way. But if you have done it their way, it is a real advantage to you. And I got I think we're all eligible for this. There's a $50 credit from Amazon to do your campaigns. I started that. I'm not really sure how it's going or working because I've only done it for about a week or so. Apparently, I used up like $3 of the 50 or something like that. So I don't know if that's good or not. But it's something that gives all of us the opportunity to be more present with the sales and to get our name and our products out there, and give us some experience to do that without out of pocket.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for sharing, Michael, and making that super clear so everyone can kind of understand what you're talking about. Always good to learn. Scott. Yay. So Scott, you are experiencing, summer, right? This is what's happening
indeed.
Up here.
Yeah.
Right. So
a
tell
hot
us about
spell
that.
of 22 degrees. which is actually very cool for us because normally it's about 30 or something, but not to worry. No, I was just thinking, you talked about this time being a time of restoration. And I think it's also as much a time for creating memories, because we're engineering our time in this particular time, Christmas or whatever it is, to be together, to engineer things in our lives so that we can spend that time together. And that's not always possible during the year. People come from interstate, from other places, and that makes this time even more precious. And so I think the aspect of creating memories is very significant, and which is why I think it's important to write that, journal it or take your pictures or whatever it is, somehow cement those memories into a form that you can look back on. Because when you, at the end of the day, the only thing you really have are those memories, because those people have gone, they've gone on with their lives, whatever. But if you have those memories, then you can relive these moments that are so precious. Because, children will change in the blink of an eye. Before you know it, they're 10, 20, 30, out the door. It happens. It happens. And also I'm thinking, this idea of restoration, I don't think it's something that we just should be limited to just those special occasions that are sort of celebrated en masse. Because I remember John was talking about his most valuable and useful time in terms of his career development was the half an hour he spent meditating each day, which is very significant because that would be a time of restoration. But it's also a time during which our conscious mind can get out of our way, and the deeper parts of ourselves can come through with whatever insights, intuitions, or understandings about business or life or ourselves or whatever things just bubble up from the surface, from deep within. And that bubbling up aspect can only take place when you get yourself out of the way. And that's when where the restoration really has value, I think. And it's interesting that John actually mentioned that directly as being pivotal to his success. And if we can do that, have that restoration literally every day. So that's something to think about as well.
Love it. I agree completely. The time that I spend meditating and reflecting and, just quieting everything down, it fuels me for life, for everything that I do. And you're right. So listing things that help us restore for each and every one of us can look a little bit different. Some people it's a wholesome meal, whatever you're choosing to eat, as long as it nourishes your body and your soul. For others, laughing with family and friends. For other, walking outside. Whatever it is that helps you restore your sense of self and that kind of energy within, I think is so important. And you're right, it shouldn't just be at a specific time of the year, but definitely noticeable now, because when we kind of spend just giving, that take that moment, that pause for yourself and look at what you need to do in order to refuel yourself, because here we are headed to 2022. We definitely want to be in our, biggest way of being, that we can charge forward into this new year with all of the dreams and expectations that we have for ourselves. So, and I love the idea of creating memories. That has become one of my favorite ways of looking at things. Like we're creating, you're creating memories for your children, you're creating memories for the people that you meet. And it is true, time just goes so fast that when we can look back, this is something that I was also talking about. You always trigger these deep thoughts in me, Scott. And so it's like, I feel like now when you get a little bit older, right? I'm not that old, but when you get a little bit older, like in your 40s, and you're able to then reflect back, like look back at life, some moments in life where it maybe seemed insignificant or not that important, or maybe relationships where you just thought, oh, well, they're whatever, that was another person that we met or spent time with that hindsight, in 15, 20 years looking back, suddenly you see how valuable those moments were and how rare they were. And I think that as you get older, you're able to recognize the moments as they're happening. And that is so precious. You recognize that this is a special time. This is a memory. Like this is something that we will value looking forward. And it's not the vacation or the trip to, the flashy things. It's actually when you're able to see those moments with the friendships that you've created, with your family that you're spending time. I mean, that's really, I think, where we can find treasure, that treasure of life, that, oh, wow, this is so important. This is so crucial. And to be able to observe that in the moment, I think meditation helps with that a lot. And also, age and just kind of looking at how, if you're reflecting back on life and then you're able to see that and then apply it to your present moment. I think that is really, really special. So.
And I think journaling as well, and taking those photographs, anything to jog the memory, because you will forget the details. You will forget the little things that happened.
Sure.
But if you can write it down or have some memory trigger, then you can relive that moment 20 years down the track.
I agree.
That's a very precious thing, I think.
I agree. I was paused, like every time we had a funny moment, I was like, okay, wait, we have to get that on film. Okay, redo it. So that we can look back and remember, with the kids, but definitely for all things. I love that. Yeah. Journaling is one of my favorite things to do. I've been doing that since I was, 11 probably, or before 9. I don't know. When you learn to write, that's what I was already journaling and writing stories. All right, let's move on to Joe. Thank you so much, Scott. Always great to have you here.
Thank you.
Joe and Kelly. Oh, lost you there because I lowered your hand and now you have to unmute yourself. So
got it. You got it.
yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we enjoy packaging, and what we do 3 or 4 times a year. Mm-hmm. We take everything that we can not have to buy for the kids, but buy toys and everything to the shelters, to the women that have to try to get away from whatever situation they're in.
Yeah.
I think I enjoy that more than the buying of gifts. The kids are getting old enough now, they want cards. What do you call those? Money? Gift cards. I was like, I like making Christmas. That's what Illinois. I was raised in Illinois, so was Kelly, but we came. We were brought here as children, so it's funny. But that is my thing. If you're going to do my Christmas, I would rather have you do whatever drawing, whatever you can that you gave from your heart, not from your wallet. But yeah, Kelly has got me in that. I enjoy the heck out of going and bringing the stuff to the children at that homes. I like that.
That's amazing. Amazing. And you know, it really does, because I've seen that, you know, I used to work in the shelters a little bit and donate and just kind of try to bring some of what I do into that space. And the help is enormous when you see them, the mother, you know, because they leave with nothing. They leave with nothing. They have nothing with them. They have to leave everything behind and just, you know, exit. And so suddenly the children have clothes that they can choose from, like they set it up and they can choose from the clothes, they can choose from the toys, and they just gather some things. And I'm getting chills just talking about it. It's just so moving. You know, I've seen it firsthand. It really is. It's amazing. You know, when they walk in and just they're able to choose all these different toys and all these different clothes, and you know, they set it by size, and then they can let these families have a fresh start wherever they need. And sometimes the families stay for a while in the shelters for a while. So it really is amazing. It really is. So thank you for sharing that. Michael.
Hello again. I have to agree with the ladies. I so much appreciated. When I was a kid, I didn't want this. When someone would make something for me, because I'm like, why? Why don't you just buy something? But as an adult, as a parent, I love the fact that I could get something that's made from the kids. That never happens, but I'm just, you know, I'm saying it'd be nice. And the whole gift card thing is like they just want money or gift cards for food or this and everything else, which I did provide. However, I wanted to give them stuff that's more appropriate. But that's not my story. My story is this: that my son came over and he's had a rough time. His girlfriend like just broke up with him 2 weeks before Christmas, after 4 years. So he's like, I've got no money. I have to buy presents for everybody. What am I gonna do? I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, it's okay. So when he came over, he just gave me a box of Oreo cookies that were mint, and I hate mint, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. You know, my quality is to spend time with you. You know, that's what nourishes me. That's what restores me. That's what makes it special. Again, creating those memories. I think that's so much more amazing than whatever else he could give me. I mean, sure, there's things I would like and want and that kind of thing, but you know, they come and go. The memories are forever. And well, as long as my mind is going, you know, that's, you know, that stays, and that's, I think, the important thing. And it was so great just to be able to have that time to explore feelings and experiences and love and the season and everything else that goes along with that. And you know, there's never enough time. That's another thing. There's never enough time when you want to spend time with your kids. You know, when you finally get that little snippet, it's you know, can we expand this somehow? Can we make this days, weeks? That's just all I wanted to say about that, because I think that, you know, again, it's everything you said and encompassed about the beingness of it all. Oh wait, that's a mug. I'm gonna write that down. Anyway, I'll get off because I know we gotta get going. But thank you so much for the platform.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We love you a lot and we missed you. And it's, you know, it's beautiful to share. You're sharing your special moments with your family. And I think you know, it's truly, it's humbling, it's important, and it's yeah, it's just really, I think, important to pause one moment and see that it's not about the stuff. It's not about the stuff. It's about the feelings and the relationships and all that. And the stuff that we pile on top of that is great decorations, and you know, they can be great for our business, of course, right? Because we definitely want to encourage that. But deep down, and as you were speaking, you said, "Oh, that's a good mug." You know, it's like, it's those emotions, right? Because people are purchasing based on the emotion. They're looking at what you're creating and they're like, oh, I want to have that. And that's going to make me smile in the morning, or that's going to bring some delight to my life. And it was beautiful. So just watching you, you know, speak and share your journey, and then, you know, how the Oreo cookies didn't really matter. It's about the time, but we can land that on a mug and make a lot of sales. You can probably hear my background noise of my family having a good time. Scott, you can wrap it up for us. And if nobody else has anything to share, let's hear from you.
Yes, thanks, Kieran.
Yeah, sure, Jen.
The
Just
best
one
gift
thing.
that I had was I helped support an orphanage in Africa, and they sent this cute video. I mean, these kids have nothing, and they're laughing and they're smiling and they're pretending on guitars and using a a water bottle for a microphone. And they did such an awesome job singing I Wish You a Merry Christmas. It touched my heart.
That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. I love that. There are so many different now ideas of things that we can do for, people in different countries. I think once somebody sent me, you can donate, like you can help a baby elephant or something, like from the different wildlife for birthdays and whatever. And so you help this elephant come to be, or helping an African community is awesome, or helping any type of community like we had shared. So definitely fills and fuels our soul. Thank you, Janice, for sharing that. That was a beautiful image for us to have in our mind. Scott.
Yes, just one thing. I mean, life is what it is, and the family dynamics of different families are often different, and some are easy and some are not. And one thing that's sort of been impressed upon my mind this Christmas is really the breadth of the concept of family. Yes, you have your physical family, you have your biological family, but I'm finding more and more the spiritual family, the emotional family extends way, way beyond that. And I found that friendships have also become far more precious to me over time, particularly friendships in a job now that I'm not working anymore. They become very, very precious to me. And those associations that I took for granted by seeing these people every day. And yet I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time.
Yeah.
And that extended, that spiritual family is as real to me as a biological family. In some cases, with some individuals, even more so.
Yeah.
Because family dynamics are just that, dynamic.
Yeah.
Good and bad and everything in between.
Yeah.
So the concept of family can really be very, very extensive. And I find, yes, blood is thicker than water, but sometimes spirit is thicker than blood. That's what I find.
Right. No, and I love that you brought that, because that brings me back to what we were talking right before I hit the broadcast live button. And it is the interconnectedness of all things. It's the interconnectedness of all of us. We've become this spiritual family. We've become, so important in each other's lives that we can have an impact on each other's life for real. Like when we don't have to be, in the same vicinity, right? Standing next to each other, or, physically doing, somebody's sharing their screen by accident. Julie, you're sharing your screen. So I don't think you wanted to do that. Let me see if I can pause that here for you. Yeah, if you want to do stop sharing screen, let me see. There we go. Here it popped up. So only hosts can share screen now. All right. Anyway, so the interconnectedness of all things, you see, that's the beautiful. I think we're always pushed this illusion of being alone, being separate. Michael was sharing, how the winter pushes us in the houses, and we're just kind of, if you don't have a relationship, he was saying, you can feel pretty alone. And but can we see how we're all interconnected? Can we see how everything relates to one another? And if we take that with all the stories, like Joe sharing with the shelter, and Janice with the tribe, and how we're feeling inside of our house with our children, or not with our children, or with our spiritual family, and to value these moments, to see how connected we are, to see the magic, right? If we tie it back to what Michael was sharing with the snow falling, we can really witness the magic in our everyday life. And that in turn can fuel us and keep us moving forward, creating something bigger and brighter each day, so that we can share that with the world. So, Scott, I completely agree. There's your biological, and there's your spiritual, there's your chosen family. You can find your own tribe. You can create these things. And, it's beautiful. Life is about those memories, those experiences, and creating the wonderful, even sometimes they're not as wonderful, right? But creating those memories and experiences together so that we can evolve and grow. Because when you evolve as a person, when you really understand things, you help the whole world evolve. I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. And so on that note, that is a good note to wrap up on. Happy holidays, everyone. We're really pushing the light forward every time that we meet up. I am super excited to be here with you all week. We will have calls also only until Thursday this week. Let me just check the date so that I'm not. Yes, exactly, because the 31st is New Year's Eve. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday here. I look forward to seeing you all here, and happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of your day. Great to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy Christmas.